I have never been more excited about SEO going into 2026, especially for our B2B SaaS clients. And what I'm going to do in the video today is give you a handful of tactics that you can implement right now, or your SEO team can implement right now, that will either help to increase organic visibility, AI visibility, or conversion rates, or all of the above. Now, if you are a B2B SaaS, maybe you're just looking for a fresh approach across SEO. Maybe you want to understand and formulate a bit more of an AI SEO strategy going into 2026 and get results such as these for our clients. So a nice steady sort of increase in traffic and conversions, visibility across the key sort of AI models. Jump into sessionmedia.com, fill out a contact form, or reach out to me on LinkedIn, drop me a DM, and I'll be sure to get back to you. Now, in this video today, I do go through some email scripts that you can use as part of your outreach. If you sign up to the link in the description of this video, you'll receive an email with a Notion board. Now, this Notion board has the show notes to all of my videos that I've done. If you click the first link, you will get the email scripts that I'm going to take you through today. A handful of reasons why I absolutely love SEO at the moment and SEO going into 2026 is partly because we have never had more opportunities to rank one brand in one particular SERP. So if you put in your target keyword and vertical, such as HR software for small businesses, just take a look at this SERP, right? We've got the sponsored results, the Google ads at the top. We've then got a listicle. So again, this isn't a solution provider. This is the 7 best HR software tools, small business. We've then got a listicle. We've then got a Reddit thread. We've then got a solution. We've then got an AI overview. We've then got a couple more solutions down here. We've then got a video in the SERP. And then we've got 3 more solutions to finish it off. So looking at this SERP objectively, we can feature obviously 1 in the Google ads. We can feature in the 2 in the listicle, 3 in the Reddit thread, 4 our own solution, 5 in the AI overviews, 6 in the YouTube videos. So potentially we've got 6 different formats in which our brand can be mentioned on this one Google SERP. I don't remember a time when that has ever been possible. And I only have to cast my mind back 4 or 5 years when we were all fighting for one spot, 8 to 10 blue links. Cannibalization was a huge thing. None of that really applies today, especially in the B2B SaaS category, in which I'm going to run through a few examples. So you can fire this video over to your SEO team, into your SEO specialist, and ask them to action some of these tactics that I'm going to take you through today. So to begin, add in your target keyword and your vertical. So I'm going to use the example of HR software for small businesses. Of course, I'm going to ignore the Google ads because this is an SEO video. And I'm going to firstly pay particular attention to this first listicle. So smallbusiness.co.uk have put together a comprehensive guide featuring the 7 best HR software tools for a small business. Let's take a look at what is featured in this content. Okay, so firstly, we've got 11 at the top here. So that's good for a reason that I'll come on to in a minute. We've got the author down below, which is also good. We've got the date that it was refreshed. We've got a little bit of information about how to choose the right provider, a bit of a buyer's guide. And then we've got solution providers listed down here. Now, what would I do? Well, this domain is ranking number 1 for our target keyword and the vertical. If someone puts in HR software for small businesses, you can probably guarantee they are a small business looking for an HR software provider. So it's our objective to get our brand featured on this guide. So how do I go about doing this? Well, we've got the author here. So firstly, I would try and find this author's email address using an email outreach tool like hunter.io. So we've used hunter.io for years and years and years, and it's a fantastic system to help find and validate emails for contacts of particular websites. So super cheap. I mean, depending on how many emails you're looking for, it's pennies on the pound or cents on the dollar. So get started for free. Give it a bit of a test run, see what the hit rate is like, and get your email list into like a nice CSV. Now, when it comes to distributing, sending the emails, we use one of 2 tools. So we either use BuzzStream, And again, we've used that for a number of years. You can go a lot deeper with different campaigns and things like that. But the quickest and easiest one to get started with is Instantly. And the best thing about Instantly is that you can purchase pre-warmed up email domains. So it's never advisable to outreach a cold list of target emails using your work email address. Like, for example, I would never pitch hundreds of email addresses or even thousands in some cases with my ben.alfrey@session-media.com email, because all it takes is a couple of people to report as spam and suddenly my work email will go into the spam of my clients, even my staff in some cases. So Instantly is great. It'll give you a warmed up email domain. Don't worry too much about what that domain is. People don't actually pay that much attention to it. Obviously, if you want to get it as close to your actual business as possible, then great, but don't worry too much about that. The art of success comes in your email copywriting script. And as I said, I've put a handful of these into the Notion board that you can receive by just signing up to the link in the description. So if you just want to plug and play email, there it is. But I think it's quite important that you understand some of the nuance of writing a good email. So in this example here, we ran a campaign earlier on this summer to try and get Session Media featured in similar listicles such as the 10 best B2B marketing agencies, 10 best B2B SEO agencies, et cetera, et cetera. One of those was the top 10 London B2B marketing agencies for 2025. And you can see, it's hosted on Growth Labs, that we had some success with it. So we're sitting number 2 underneath Growth Labs. And the email that I sent to this guy was exactly this. Subject: we need to make sure the email gets opened. This had a 62% open rate, I think it was. A very bland, generic subject matter, but raised enough curiosity. Subject: question, RE B2B marketing agency. Again, Growth Labs are a B2B marketing agency. So, in turn, they might have thought, this might be a lead opportunity. So a little bit cheeky, but it worked. Hi, first name. I figured you may be the genius behind the roundup of the best B2B marketing agency list I found on the Growth Labs website. So again, I'm not linking to it. In some cases, you can send the naked URL. I personally think it looks a bit spammy. And I know Gmail does have a bit of a flag there if a naked URL goes direct into an email. And I want to make sure that these emails avoid spam. Figured I'd shoot my shot, drop you a quick note, see if you might consider including Session Media in there too, ? And then a little bit about Session Media. We're a performance-focused B2B agency. We're London-based. I did a bit of personalization here. Just say, we've just moved from Guildford, RRP, Nature, and Hello Concrete Jungle. Again, it's not something that I think AI would pull directly, at least as a first hit into an email. So it gives it a bit more authenticity. A little bit more about the business, 14-person in-house team, doing what we're proud of since 2018. A few awards here and there. Again, a very sort of candid, honest pitch, if I'm honest, giving, I think, enough information about the business and a bit of a face to the business as well. And then the close. Appreciate you considering my email and hope things are good in the location they're in. Pretty wild times in the agency space right now. So I'm also just trying to find that middle ground. Again, it's not a hard push. He knows what I'm wanting from this email. And this guy actually reached back out to me on LinkedIn and wanted to check that what they were saying about Session Media was correct, and it was. That one got placed. So again, this maybe took me an hour or so to put together. Again, I've got some more examples in the YouTube Notion board. Another really popular sort of framing of this email outreach is the subject line being something like inaccuracy spotted in, and then insert the title. Again, a little bit cheeky, but the writer of that article will always open that email because they'll want to know what those inaccuracies are. And things that you can consider as an inaccuracy could be changes in things like pricing between when they checked a provider, 6 months ago to what it is now. It could be features that have been made redundant. It could be use cases that haven't been included. It could be that software has done a bit of a hard pivot. I know a lot of the HR software providers have gone heavy on payroll, for example. So you will always find an inaccuracy if you're looking for one, and leverage the likes of AI to sort of help you with that. If you recall, one of the first things I mentioned It's this one here. If you recall, one of the first things I mentioned was that the article title was 7 HR tools for small businesses. And actually the title now is 11. So there's already a small inaccuracy there that you can probably work with. But the idea is to just pique that curiosity in the subject opener. Now, listicles are also great because the AI tools such as ChatGPT will look for consistent mentions of your brand next to a category. So again, if I go back to the Growth Labs example, one of the absolutely key things that I was sure to do was make sure that session media is mentioned very close to the phrase B2B digital marketing agency, which at its core is what we do. Now, the more I publish that session media is a B2B digital marketing agency or B2B marketing agency, and we're getting listed as a top provider in that space, the AI we will start to see session media bleed into the AI responses as us being a B2B digital marketing agency provider, right? So we want to make sure that there's consistent themes of our brand next to the category of which we're trying to be visible in. So that would be my absolute number one thing without context of the site that I would do to try and get listed in one of those listicles. Let's scroll a little bit further down the SERP. So we've got Reddit threads here. Now, if you're not at least thinking about Reddit marketing in 2026 as part or alongside your SEO strategy, you are going to be leaving money on the table because Reddit is where so much consideration happens. It's also where a lot of users freely give up their open thoughts about different providers. So we can go through these subreddits and identify what are some of the pain points that users are looking for, what are some of our competitors doing really well, but in turn, what are some of our competitors doing really badly, and where can we find a bit of a gap to frame our solution as being the best solution for them? Now, when we have a look at this subreddit, we can see that it's quite light on the ground. There's not a great deal of detail that's gone into some of these responses. There's not a great deal of upvotes here. And so my guess would be that this is probably a subreddit that hasn't been taken a look at by, the likes of Breathe or a Sage or whatever, some of those listings that we saw in the best, the best HR tools guide. And this would be an opportunity for us to put a comment into this subreddit and then strategically upvote it as well. So if you want more information about how to do Reddit, do reach out because it is a service that we've been trialing this year with some great successes as well. So Reddit absolutely has to be part of the SEO plan in 2026. Let's keep going down. AI overviews, love them or hate them, they're here to stay. Unfortunately, they are not going to send you many clicks. So the main KPI for an AI overview is just that visibility. We want to get featured up at the top here saying that we're a popular HR software provider for small businesses. We've got Bamboo, we've got Gusto and Rippling. So if I click this first link, similar to how we outreach smallbusiness.co.uk, I would run the exact same playbook for startups, Zapier, HiBob, Rippling, where they all list the best solutions of HR software to small businesses. Now, you'll notice that HiBob and Rippling are actual providers of that solution. So the AI overview is trusting HiBob to be the best decider of who is the best HR software for small business, even though HiBob does that. Same with Rippling, right? So if you are an HR software provider and you're targeting small businesses, consider having these listicles directly on your site. Consider hosting content that is the 10 best HR software for small businesses, and then put yourself as number one. In turn, when you do put yourself as number one, don't just bash your competitors. Actually give some reasoning behind why you've put yourself as number one and why some of your other competitors might be a little bit further down the list. You see, the thing is, if you can give essentially your workings out to the AI models and to the user, it's far more likely that they will trust you as a seed of judgment. And in turn, if they then subsequently request a demo for you, they've already done a little bit of self-qualification. And so when sales speak to them, they are likely to be a little bit further along in the consideration journey or that purchase journey than if they hadn't done that self-qualification. So really make sure that you're fair and objective in your reasoning and really sort of give weight behind why you selected yourself at the top and your competitors 2, 3, 4, 5, for example. Now, there are other things to consider when creating this type of content, and this is the content structure. So again, I've just opened up the Hi Bob example. They've given the TLDR at the top, which is great. A key takeaways, you're essentially giving the true essence of what the article is about right at the top. This is great. They've then used a variety of H2s and H3s. They've used bullet point lists. I think a little bit further down. And they've also used real sort of screenshots of the actual platform, which is great. I think a little bit further down, they've got some tables. They've got table of contents on the left. So what you want to try and do is structure this in a way that is very easily skimmable, easily read, because the AI models love this content type. If they can more easily tokenize the content that exists on this page, the cost to process this content will be lower, and therefore will marginally increase the likeliness that they will feature you as a solution in the AI answer box. So do self-host this type of content, make it super easy for it to be read, but add depth, weight, and data, first-party data screenshots to really beef this piece up, because not only does Google like it, but the AI crawlers like it as well. And again, look how many options we've got down here in the AI overviews. You know, we could keep replicating this strategy. We could literally just have our team pitching listicles to listicle domains, creating listicles for any category that we're in. So again, we're HR software for small business, HR software for finance, HR software for, insert any category. We could probably create a listicle around it. And then last but not least, do not sleep on YouTube. Google is increasingly showing more YouTube videos in the SERP. If I was an HR software provider for a small business, I 100% would be creating videos that are better than the ones provided here, offering more detail, essentially doing like a walkthrough buyer's guide in a sense, considering all the different options, why some are good, why some are bad, their reviews, really go into the detail and aim to help the user. Some of these videos, 3.5 minutes, and it's ranking top in this SERP here. These ones here, only 10 and 12 minutes. We could really get an expert to talk through this subject for probably quite a long time. So don't sleep on YouTube. YouTube can be a great long form mechanism where not only can you provide a great deal of detail and information, probably more so than you can in written copy, but it also puts a face to your business. It helps to build trust. And I think that broadly takes us to the end. So this is why I'm loving SEO at the moment. Not only can we get featured in some of these listicles, we can get featured in the AI overview, we can get our own products or solution featured with standard sort of SEO best practices. And again, if you're a B2B SaaS and you're not ranking on the first page of Google, then do drop me a message or leave a comment and I can take a look at your site. We can do YouTube videos. There's so much that we can do in SEO going into 2026. And I haven't even touched on the AI SEO type thing. So I'm super excited. If you're excited and you enjoy videos such as these, then I'd really appreciate if you like the video and subscribe to the channel. And until then, I will see you next time. Thank you.